everybody, and welcome back to my channel and another vlog. As I've started talking, the dog has gone absolutely mad. Elsa wants to be the star of the show. Stop it! Can you see her? I don't know if you can see her. Where's she gone? Where's she gone? Kiss it. Kiss it. Well, that's one way to start a vlog, isn't it? Unfortunately, this vlog... Elsa! You're not helping! It's going to be a bit of a chatty vlog and just a bit of an update on things that have been happening. I do want to start off with a bit of a trigger warning. So I am going to be talking about death and bereavement. So please turn off now if that is not something that you want to listen to. Because lots has been happening and I thought I'll come on, do a bit of an update. I've got some bad stuff and I've got some good stuff. So it's a bit 50-50. Elsa! You're really not helping. I think it's because she's wet because winter has appeared. She's gone all like squiggly diggly. Squiggly wheelie wheelie wheelie. Anyway, so where do I start? So, the bad stuff. You would have probably seen, if you follow me on Instagram or if you saw the short that I put up a couple of weeks ago, that unfortunately I lost my fabulous Franco. It was really unexpected. It was really, really sudden. And I wanted to come on and just kind of say what had happened. I think it will be quite cathartic for me, but also I think it kind of sets a scene for them what's next. So you would have seen in my last vlog that we were actually prepping for Osberton. So we'd gone to the gallops, we'd had a show jumping lesson, and he was feeling really, really fabulous. And I did actually vlog when I was at Osberton. However, we did not have the best time there, riding-wise. I had a wonderful time with Shelley from ROR Dressage. We stayed in a rooftop tent. I'll put the company in the caption, actually, because they were fabulous. And it withstood Storm Amy, so that was brilliant. However, Franco did not have a brilliant time. And actually, in retrospect, I think something potentially was rumbling on for him, unfortunately. So I haven't pulled that together as a vlog, and I don't think I ever will, if I'm honest. It's just a bit, it's a bit crap that was kind of our last outing. It's actually the last time I rode him, was the show jumping round we did there. And now he's gone, and it just doesn't feel right. So I will not be putting that out as a vlog. So we came back from Osberton. I was really disappointed with the run that we'd had, and I basically just chucked Franco out with Obi for his winter holidays. So he did have a little bit more grass than normal, but otherwise nothing had changed. And about 5 days after Osberton, I came across with my daughter, so we were supposed to be going swimming, and Franco didn't eat his breakfast. And if I'm honest, initially I didn't think much of it because I thought, well, you know, he's on more grass and otherwise he seemed relatively okay. But as I was there and doing their waters and sorting Obi and Ruby out, he started to just look uncomfortable. So he was sort of trotting round with his head very low, and I thought, oh no, he doesn't look quite right. But if I'm honest with you, I just thought he had a little bit of spasmodic colic. And I wasn't hugely worried, but I called the vet, and the vet came out for the 100th time this year. And I think she initially thought the same. So we gave him an antispasmodic, we gave him painkillers, he passed some droppings while she was there. So actually, we sort of thought, okay, well, whatever it is, hopefully we can get on top of it. She did decide to put a tube down to see what was in his stomach. And that's when we realised that actually there was a bit of a blockage there. And within the 40 minutes that he was sedated, she couldn't get it all out. So she suggested that we went to the hospital. But even at this point, I thought he'd be coming home like the next day. I just did not think that he wouldn't ever... Sorry. I just didn't think that he would never come out. So I left him there and they lavaged him. So tried to remove the blockage. So they were doing that sort of every 4 hours. And after 24 hours, we got the call to say they'd actually managed to remove the blockage in his stomach, the impaction, which was great news. And even at that point, I sort of thought, well, we've just got to gradually get him to start eating. And then, Elsa, can you stop that? and then he'll be able to come home. And I think at that point I said to the vets, like, oh, can we make sure that we vaccinate him before he comes home? Like, I just did not think that it was going to end with losing him. And unfortunately, he just didn't improve. And what the problem actually was that he'd lost all mobility of his GI tract. And they tried lots of fluids. They tried drugs that help stimulate the gut. And me and my husband went across every day. Me and my mum went across too. And he was just really like sorry for himself. And didn't even he didn't really care that we were there. And I thought, oh no, this really isn't looking good. But then I thought, well, if he feels shit, then, if he's not feeling so good, I shouldn't swear, perhaps that's the reason. But anyway, it got to the point where there was nothing more that the vets could actually do for him. And so the most humane thing was to have him put to sleep. And what I think was really awful was that I don't think I wasn't prepared for that was the way it was going. Obviously, you can't think like that, can you? Because if you thought like that all the time, you wouldn't leave your house. But yeah, he just didn't improve. And what the worst thing was is the day we went to see him I think it was probably the brightest day he was in the hospital, because they'd cleared the impaction, he was well hydrated, they were managing any pain, and I think he thought that we were there to take him home. And that was the hardest thing. I know, Elsa, I'm all right. Because we had to say goodbye when he was like a bit better. But I stayed with him throughout the whole thing. Obviously, I had Sooty put down as well at the beginning of this year. And that was really traumatic, if I'm honest. The euthanasia was not good at all. Where with this, it was really lovely. I got to tell him everything that I wanted to tell him. I got to say thank you for everything, and that I'm going to miss him terribly, and that he's the best horse that I've ever had. Oh guys, I'm so sorry, I kept it together for so long there, didn't I? So anyway, I said my goodbyes, and I was absolutely devastated. He was only 14, bless him. I'd had him for 8 years, so 8 years had been part of my life. Both pregnancies through the pandemic. Right, I've composed myself. I feel like I really do want to talk about it, and I really want to tell everybody what happened and how I'm feeling and how I've kind of processed and dealt with my grief. But it's obviously very hard, and I obviously don't want to just be crying on a video, a very public video. So I've composed myself. And I have no idea if that bit that I've just filmed makes any sense, but that's that bit. And what I wanted to add to that, and this is the bit that I'm a little bit, I'm quite uncomfortable talking about, but I feel it's important, is that I've had quite a few messages of people saying, you're so strong, you don't have to be strong, blah, blah, blah. And I want to just put into context, like, I am absolutely devastated about Franco. I struggle to say his name a little bit, I feel a lump come to my throat. I'm going to miss him terribly. Love that horse to pieces. But at the same time, I have had quite a lot of trauma in my life. And the main thing that I think is just kind of important context, and I want to sort of talk about how I've managed this grief, because I don't know, it might help somebody else, it might not. Is that when I was 2.5, I'm going to get upset again. My dad died of stomach cancer. Well, actually, it was a very rare form of cancer called gastroesophageal junction cancer. Sorry, my mind's gone because I'm emotional. Gauge cancer, it's otherwise known as. And it was really, really severe, and he didn't make it, and he passed away. He was only 38, bless him. And I've grown up my whole life with that loss. So my dad never saw me go to school. He didn't see me get married. He's never met my children. Although my son is very like him, which is lovely. And that has been incredibly hard. And also to point out that I was born in the 90s. So in the 90s, when this kind of thing happened, you didn't get any support. Like, my family didn't have any kind of emotional support or counselling, no support at school. We just had to kind of get on with it and muddle through. And that has been like an ongoing pain. So as much as I'm hugely upset about Franco, I also know that it's not going to be as painful as what I'm already kind of living with my dad. And also because my dad passed away when he was 38, it gives me a great sense of drive that actually life is short, and I think you can be grieving and processing that, but actually I think it's important sometimes to not, for me anyway, this is totally personal, but to not wallow in that grief and to not sit in that anger, because I've tried that. Believe me, I have tried that, and it was detrimental to my mental health, and it was actually detrimental to my physical health. Maybe I'll talk about that on a different vlog, I don't know. But actually, I thought, right, Franco has gone. I had a couple of days feeling like I felt pain. My body just felt pain. But I thought, right, well, what does that mean next? What's the next chapter? You know, my dad passed away before he was 40. That's still a little bit away from me, but not that long. And what does that mean next? So let's close that chapter and look to what the future is. And so I had a bit of an idea in my mind about what I wanted, and it just so happens that I found exactly what I wanted very quickly, like down to a T. So that's where the second part of this video kind of comes in, and I think that little context about my dad is quite important, because I really don't want people thinking, oh, you know, Franco's gone and then she's just gone out and bought another horse, because technically that is what I've done. But that's kind of my thinking. I'm still grieving for Franco. I miss him terribly. And I've also, the horse that I've bought, that I'll be introducing in a second, is totally different on purpose. And he's unbroken. The horse that I've got, he's not a competition horse. I've got to start from scratch because I'm not ready to get out there and compete. I'm not ready to get out there and train. I need some time. And actually, by buying a young horse that I've got to do myself and just stripping it all back, starting from the beginning, this is the next chapter. You know, I'm investing in future me without current me having to go and do stuff that I'm just not ready for. So that's kind of my thinking. God, I have no idea if any of this is making sense, guys, but I really hope it is, because I think this is probably the most real and authentic I've ever been on screen. So we have got a new member at Heebie-Jeebies Eventing. He's in the field, so we'll go say hello in a second. So he's called Rex. He is a 3-year-old Irish sports horse, obviously, because I love Irish sports horses. He's dark bay, he's about 16.1 at the minute, but he'll probably get to about 16.2. He's of Obos quality lines, which all of what I've just said was exactly what I wanted. So Obos quality are known for their temperament, and Franco was a fabulous horse, but being of Master Imp lines, he was quite sharp and he was quite quirky. And I don't want that. So I didn't want that. Didn't want cruising lines for some of the reasons. I wanted something nice temperament, nice quality that I can just have a bit of fun with. And as I say, just start from the beginning, do all the groundwork, take my time. And, you know, whatever happens in the future competition-wise, you know, maybe we'll get there, maybe we won't. Certainly not looking at anything like age classes, because they're just not my bag. So his name's Rex. I can't remember if I said that. His real name is GSA Quality, which is very, very nice. And I was basically just having a look, sort of scrolling in my grief, crying about Franco, saying there's no nice horses out there, I'm never going to replace him. And it was my husband actually who said, well, write a list of what you do want. And I wrote a list, and I messaged a girl who's quite local to me, and what she does is she buys horses direct from the breeders from Ireland. She got 12 across in September. She backs them, she sells them for a profit. And I actually saw him in the background of another advert, so another horse she was advertising. So I just messaged her and said, oh, can I have more information on the bay, who wasn't up for sale at the time? And she sent me some information, and I was like, are you joking? Because that's my wish list. Bearing in mind, every time I've gone out to buy a horse, I've come back with something totally different to what I actually wanted. So I went to see him, and he's just lovely. Like, he's completely feral. He's barely been handled. And I've got so much work to do with him, but he's just absolutely lovely. I've got not much more to tell you about him, because there isn't much more to say. I brought him in for the first time today, tied him up on the yard, gave him a brush. I've just popped a rug on. I don't think he's ever had a rug on before. and he's really lovely, and we all love him, and I think he's exactly what I need right now. I can just do all the kind of baby bits and yeah, go from there really. So I'll take you out to meet him. So I'm afraid it's a bit wet and bogging out here. So here's Obes. Obes has got a thicker rug on because he was actually very, very cold just now. It really does seem like winter. Let me just shut the gate. Here he is. Absolutely beautiful. Say hello to YouTube, Rexy. He's like, oh my God, she's got a phone again. He's a good boy. Managed to get this rug on. I'm very proud of myself for that, but he is just absolutely lovely, bless him. There he is. Hello, you gonna say hello? Oh, hello everybody. Hello everybody. Good boy. Don't eat me. Oh, he's got used to the dog already as well. Right, night night boys. I'll be seeing you later. I will also insert some footage now and some photos of things of the videos that were sent when I inquired about Rex, and also a couple of videos and things since he's been here as well. But he's gorgeous, isn't he? You're a good boy. Sorry mate, you've got to be in quarantine for 2 weeks. He keeps touching it as well.
It's not off.
No, I know, but I'm like, no, it's going to be zapped.
Not really, not like that.
No. So that's little Rexy, which we're all really excited about. But as I say, I'm just going to be taking my time with him and seeing where we get to. I'd quite like to back him myself, but I'll see what he's like. And I've already touched base with somebody who's got some good recommendations for backing, who's just up the road. If I need the extra help, whatever he needs, he will get. And I also thought I'd do a little bit of an update on the other two. Obviously, when Franco passed, I was very, very lucky, and I know I'm very lucky to be in a position where I've got other horses and, you know, I've got my own stables, my own land and things, which makes, you know, having horses much easier in a lot of ways. So Obi is retired in the field. I'm a little bit worried about him though, because he has not been himself since Franco left. Obviously there's no closure for him because Franco just went off on the lorry and disappeared off. But I think having Rex as a friend next to him, they're not touching at the minute because I've kept Rex separate, so all his buckets and everything are separate just until we've had a couple of weeks. But he does seem to be a little bit happier now he's got Rex as a buddy, because Ruby doesn't really like him very much. So I'll keep an eye on him, and they will be starting to come in at night, and Obi does like to come in and have his tea and stuff. And then Ruby, bless her, she really has been what's been keeping me going. She's actually in the vets at the minute, but it's nothing serious. But I'm going to be honest with you, it's quite close to Franco still, and she's currently in the stable he was in when I was going to visit, and I've struggled with that. It's been incredibly triggering. And I think the veterinary nurses thought I was mental yesterday because I just was hysterical and had to say to them, like, my other horse was in here and he didn't make it, and they were like, oh, I'm so sorry, but, you know, it's the only stable we've got. And anyway, but she's in there because she's had a little surgery on her hock, so we just couldn't get her sound. So I can't remember when I last spoke to you guys about her, but she basically launched me into space, which was quite out of character. And so I took her for a workup at the vets, and she was lame after flexion. And even after 2 rounds of hock injections, one guided by an x-ray and one a little bit more, we'll put it in there and see what happens, she's still not sound, and actually she's got a little bone cyst in her hock joint, so in a really awkward place, lucky me, that we have just operated on. So she should be coming home tomorrow, which is why I'm doing this video now, because actually, was it last night? No, night before, they did say, oh, she's starting to show signs of colic, and I thought, I'm done, I can't do this again. Like, I absolutely can't do this again. I cannot put myself through being on the other side, like just having my phone, just thinking the worst, going through the grief, because my mind kind of spiraled. But luckily, I've just been across to see her literally just now, and she's doing loads better. I think she just wants to come home, because she eats if I'm there, basically. So I took her for a hand graze yesterday, and she was eating no problem. And she took a carrot off me earlier, which they said that she's not doing with them. So hopefully get her home tomorrow, and she will be in for a little bit. She'll then need another X-ray as a checkup, and then it'll be about bringing her back into work as well. So it's been an absolute blooming roller coaster the past couple of weeks. Losing Franco was just absolutely dreadful. But then looking to the future, I have got 2 very nice young horses that don't need to go out immediately. I've got a hell of a lot of work to do with both of them. And hopefully you will all stick around to see what the journey is for this next chapter, and youngsters and things like that, which I haven't done in a little while. And we'll see how we get on. But anyway, I'm sorry about that, guys. I feel like I've probably bummed all of you out totally. I look dreadful as well. I'm sorry about that. I've tried to sit in a place to make the light help me, but nothing's helping me right now. But yeah, I'll see you all again soon. So bye for now. Bye bye.